Welcome to the GoodS with our fabulous co-host Sarah, who just flew from California. Thank you, Sarah, for coming again.
Wonderful to be here with you, Godney.
We have so much to talk about and so many goods happening at a Freebird organization with our children, with the parents, and a lot of up-and-coming projects and segments. And we are starting today with
fashion.
Yes.
As everyone knows, this week in New York was New York Fashion Week, and we are celebrating one of our children who's actually walked the catwalk.
For 2 shows, which is unbelievable. This kid is a pro, but we will be shortly with the segment. All right, we are back again with a full story about King, our 5 years old child who has been working with the organization for a long time. And we're going to show you shortly the segment that we recorded for King. This child in particular, I have to tell you, Sarah, this child is really stole our heart. This kid is just a little man who know how to walk the aisle. Just to see him walking the aisle and on this beautiful stage with this amazing designer, Janelle Fanari, who gave again the opportunity to King to walk again. She did it last year, and now she did it this year with him, and she just loved him on the show. But what's amazing is, I was talking to his father, and his father was, Godney, the most important thing for us during the day is that we get those amazing, we get hope from every events like this for King, and this is what really gets us moving and gets us going. Yeah. And when I visited the families at their house, they are going through a lot. People don't know how much the whole family is actually suffering from the entire situation. But I love the fact that his father mentioned to me at Fashion Week that these little things that we do for them is really impact their life for this little moment and give them a hope and smile at this moment, and the entire family is waiting for it. So I love it. On top of this, I want to talk a little bit about Janelle Fanari, which you're familiar with this because we did an episode last year about her as well. Just amazing. Just a little bit about her. She is designing clothes for children and teenagers, and it's from high fashion to sports, which is beautiful stuff, material, and just beautiful. The show is super professional, just beautiful to come and see. So if you never seen the Janelle Fanari show, you must go. And the most important thing is that we have our own King over there. He's the little star over there.
He really is a little king, I have to say. And I love what you said about hope for the future. Because
yes.
One of the most important aspects of cancer treatment and recovery, especially for children, is having hope for a future, having hope for a bright future. And we've given King that dream come true, not only of walking the runway today, but thinking about his modeling career going forward as he becomes a young man.
Unbelievable. This kid, I'm telling you, he will take women's heart, that's for sure.
Watch out, girls.
Well, we are not going to talk much. We're going to actually cut it right here so you guys can see it in your own eyes. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome King Story.
When I met King, I felt like he was like the most inspirational little boy that I've ever met in my life. Like when he walked in the room, it was like everyone who was there just lit up with his energy and his excitement and his love of life, and we just all gravitated towards him. And I felt like what he's showing others is so beautiful, to live life, to fight, to be fearless, to be strong. I mean, again, everything that I believe with Fanari New York is about that, about perseverance, about not giving up, no matter what anyone tells you, to be brave, to be strong, to be fearless. Everything that King is showing in his life and doing through all his processes and everything he's fighting is kind of the belief of Fanari New York. So I felt like the models were inspired. The models are still inspired. We all still talk about it, and I feel like his legacy will always live on.
Wow, I'm speechless. This kid is unbelievable.
It was amazing. He's such a natural.
I don't know how he can do this.
In front of all of those people, to just walk down the runway like he was just walking down the street.
And he looks amazing, and the outfit this is just...
Oh yeah, the little getup they put him in, it's very like athleisure, you know, the sort of very stylish clothes you could wear to the gym and then wear to the restaurant afterwards.
And you know, I have to mention that prior to it, the Friday prior to Fashion Week, he just got his chemo. And this kid is unbelievable because, you know, the chemo really makes them very tired.
Yeah.
And to see that he just forget, he just want to go for it, and that's it. This is unbelievable.
He's living his dream.
Yeah. Coming soon.
Global Fashion Collective.
We are back with, again, Fashion Week with a new designer.
Global Fashion Collective.
And when King had the opportunity to walk again on Fashion Week with for the designer.
Sung Kun, she's an emerging South Korean designer doing amazing stuff.
Beautiful fabrics, beautiful clothes for men, for women, children, teenagers, unbelievable.
She's really mixing East meets West, and what we've seen here in King's outfit, it's an off-white suit with tropical details, a bird here, a few leaves here, and I have to say it's a wonderful coincidence considering a free bird. Coming up next, Global Fashion Collective with King. New York Fashion Week is the #1 fashion event in New York City. What better place to have King showcase his talent than with the Global Fashion Collective team in partnership with designer Sung Kun. Global Fashion Collective is a platform supporting creative designers from all around the world. They brought Sung Kun, one of the #1 Chinese designers with an expert eye for pattern making and tailoring, to their stages, and King was there every step of the way. Look at him walking the runway like a pro, and he even had time to strike his signature pose.
All right, we are back again at the GoodS, and with another segment where I had the honor and the privilege to go to the Singh family and really see behind the scene what's happened when a child has cancer and how the family cope with it, how the family struggle. There's special moments. This family is very dear to my heart, and let's take a look. Hi everybody again, and welcome back to the GoodS. I am today at a very special family, the Singh family. We traveled all the way from Brooklyn from our office to Queen's Village, which is a new spot for us. Just wanted to show you a little bit behind the scene of what the family is going through when their child is having cancer, as well as how the family impacted by the whole situation. I'm here with a special guest today with Shamiza Singh. And hi Shamiza, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I would like to know your whole situation, your whole family has really fascinated us. The way you guys are taking care of King and and his siblings, and what I would like to know is how it all started for you guys.
So it started in March of 2016. King was going back and forth to the doctor for blood transfusions. He had a very high temperature for 12 consecutive days, and the doctor told us that was called fever of unknown origin, and it may possibly be cancer, but they weren't sure. So they told us to follow up with a hematologist oncologist, and we were getting pretty nervous because we knew that had to do with cancer. So we ended up taking him there. They did a sample, and they told us to wait in the room. She came in, and she told us, she's like, they got the results back, and she has to go get the doctor. It was something that they saw that was worrisome. So she left the office, she went to get the doctor, and we just started panicking because usually they tell you, oh, you know, it's okay, we saw something minor, and you get to go home, and that's the end of it. But the doctor came in and told us that they confirmed with blood samples that yes, indeed, he does have cancer.
Wow, wow. And how at that moment, how I'm sure like you like your heart went all the way down. If I describe this correctly.
Yes, our lives crumbled at that very moment because we just didn't know like what type of cancer it was. Will he make it? What's gonna happen? He has to get chemotherapy. So many things ran through our mind. We were just hoping that it was something that was curable and that they had a good prognosis for it. So we have prayed our way since then.
Wow. And what do you feel was the hardest thing for you until now?
The hardest thing for sure is for my husband and I switching roles. So now my husband is now Mr. Mom and I am Mrs. Dad. Reluctantly so, because my husband has a nursing background. He has a degree, bachelor's degree in nursing. So it made sense for him to quit his jobs to stay home with King and his siblings to care for them because he had training, he had medical training. So I work full time and I have the health insurance. So far, that's how it's been working. My husband stays home. He's their full-time caretaker, so that leaves us financially in debt. King is over thousands of dollars in medical debt, but we don't focus on that. We focus on the fact that he's here and fighting every day, so that pushes us and gives us drive and motivation, and he inspires us and many other people to continue every day. But on the other hand, financially, we're suffering. We're in debt for just not his medical bills, but every day he goes to the hospital, he has to pay for co-pays and for his medications and his treatment, and you have to pay 20% of the co-pay. So there's a lot of financial factors to it, and it's hard. Even though we don't make it seem that way, we try to stick to the positives, but that's the stuff that's going on in the background.
Let's hear it from Michael himself and Shamiza, which I love this couple. They're so entertaining. And so, Michael, explain us a little bit in depth what King has and why he can't eat certain food and what does it do for him.
When the symptoms first came about, King was diagnosed with a disorder called G6PD, and it's just abbreviation for a long term. But basically, it's whenever King comes in contact with any triggers, his red blood cells burst rapidly to the point where he becomes it's called hemolytic anemia, and the only thing to save them is a blood transfusion. And through monitoring that is how they also picked up the cancer, which is rare. And just avoiding all the triggers. The triggers are viruses and certain bacteria, so if King gets the flu, he can potentially get hemolytic anemia. Wow. If he gets pneumonia or anything that he picks up. Most of the time when King has what they call neutropenia from your chemotherapy, your white blood cells go very low to the point where you become immunosuppressed and you pick up anything that's around you. So that alone is detrimental for cancer patients, but it doubles King's chances of being fatal because the G6PD also makes him anemic. So you can always count whenever King gets sick, he would always probably need some red blood cells or platelets depending on how severe his reaction to the triggers are.
in one point, did you ask yourself, why me? Why is it happening to us?
Yes.
Many times. But I think that God has chosen us to be King's parents because he knew that we would be able to get him through it. Because a lot of families that get diagnosed, they get depressed and they go into a shell and they don't speak about it and they don't talk to anyone. Or like we said, research is very important, especially with his diet and his condition. And they just keep going further down into a hole, whereas we're trying to climb out of there and be positive and do as much research and advocating for him as much as we can. So I think we were chosen for him.
Perfect. So what are you going to do for us today? You're going to write your name? Yeah? Are you a real king? Yes? If there's anything that you would like to have and tell people that see your story, what is something that's very important to you that you would wish that you could have?
Be cured of cancer.
Be cured of cancer. Why is it too painful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that you go through is painful?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us what's really painful. What is something that really bothers you?
Having cancer.
Having cancer. And is it like the what would you like to do instead? Would you like to go and play with friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you miss that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of friends?
No.
No. Why do you think you don't have a lot of friends?
Because I could get sick.
Because you get sick. Earlier when I met you guys, I think a year ago, you mentioned to me that the basement wasn't done, and you know, people usually when they give money, they don't understand why they're giving money to you guys on GoFundMe. And by the way, the family has a GoFundMe for King because they need the help, and she's going to show us today why they need the help. Okay, so explain me a little bit.
Yes, of course. So that's partial of it. So there's so much, but if you have multiple children, you understand what goes into taking care of children and maintaining your home. And with King's diagnosis, our priority is to make sure that he's well. And considering he has his enzyme deficiency, the G6PD, we spend a lot of time preparing meals and not so much taking care of our home, both because there's not enough time and financially it's a strain since I'm the only one that works full time. A lot of people have asked why we have the GoFundMe and how come my husband doesn't work or get a job. And trust me, we've tried every possible option. We've tried having our parents watch our kids, having family members. We've even tried a babysitter at one point, and it just doesn't work out. Someone either forgets to give him his medicine, gives him too much medicine,
Wow.
They give him the wrong food, and it just becomes too problematic.
You guys want to help and support them in any way, not just financially, because there is a big struggle over here, and they need a lot of support. Whether if you are a construction person and you want to come and bring your own people to come and help them, or anything that can make the essential life over here
Because
much, much
what
better.
the whole plan was to turn the basement into a classroom because he cannot have. No, sorry. The whole goal for the basement was to turn it into a classroom because due to his symptoms and due to his being immune compromised and due to him having a device in his chest, he's not allowed to go to school.
Wow.
So basically, we wanted to create a classroom for him, but it's one thing after another. It's just a roller coaster.
Yeah. Thank you once again for our incredible sponsors for this episode. Thank you everybody for watching today,
Thank you.
and
Stay good.